Before you buy a smartwatch or a fitness tracker of any kind, make sure you watch this video. I'm gonna tell you what's working for me. Today I am sharing with you the fitness tracking apps that I've been using over the past year and how they're impacting my performance. Welcome back to Goalie Training Pro TV. My name is Maria Mountain. I'm an exercise physiologist by trade. I specialize in helping goalies win more games with fewer injuries by giving you the right training to do off the ice so you can do what you need to do on the ice. Now, when you study exercise physiology by nature, you kind of like the lab and you like collecting data. And it's never been easier than now. You should have seen the setups that we had for doing VO2 max in the lab, when I was a student. And now we can get lots of useful metrics just from our wrist. I also really love gadgets. So this is kind of an easy video for me to make. I personally use an Apple Watch. This is the Apple Watch Ultra. I just got this one about a week ago. Before that, I had the Apple Watch Model 6. So these apps aren't just for the Ultra. They'll work perfectly on your existing Apple Watch. And before you ask, or if you're wondering, I have used Whoop in the past, but I decided to stick with Apple. I shot a video comparing Whoop to my Apple Watch and what I did and didn't like about it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying you can't love Whoop. If you love Whoop, that's great. There's like a Whoop mafia out there that gets mad anytime they think someone doesn't like the Whoop. I have just chosen to go with the Apple ecosystem. So that's what today's review is going to be about. Let's get into it. The number one app that's been a real game changer for me and what really let me move away from using a Whoop strap is the app called Athletic. I can't even spell it. ATHLYTIC, maybe? But I believe it's made by the same fella who created the Hockey Tracker app. So if they like hockey, then we know it's good. What I like about Athletic is it tracks your recovery, which is really the biggest thing that I think people go to the Whoop band for. It tracks your exertion relative to your recovery. It tracks your sleep and it tracks your energy. So it tracks all that in the watch. There's also it syncs to your iPhone so you can see stuff on a little bit bigger screen if you're into a bigger screen. So let's go through each of those elements one by one. So recovery, I can go in, but you can see my recovery is at 42%. And then you can see my recovery over the course of the week, and I am yellow. But it's interesting too, because you see, and on Sunday at hockey, I got a little wee smidge of the concussion. So I got clunked in the melon and my recovery dropped down a little bit. So it tells me what my heart rate variability is, whether that's up or down. I'm sure there's a limit, but typically the higher your heart rate variability is, sort of the better, although that's a really gross exaggeration. And then it gives me a idea of my sort of average heart rate. And so again, it's saying, hey, your average heart rate is up a little higher. It's about 55. Usually it's around 53. So, and so it says your recovery today indicates that your body's in a state of recovery and you should consider training at a moderate or reduced load. Okay, well, so what does that mean? So then I click over to the exertion tab, and it tells me that that's how much I need to work out. So minimal load, 1.7 is what I've accumulated so far. And my target exercise zone is 3.2 to 5.2. So your recovery was moderate today, but you can still build 1.5 of exertion to reach my target zone. So I still have to do a little bit more, which makes sense. I've only done my lifts so far today, so I haven't gotten into that zone. And then it gives you some suggested workouts. So it says, hey, you could perform any of these following workouts, to get that remainder. So you could go walking for 53 minutes. You could go for a skate. And then it also tracks, so it goes down again. If I scroll down, it shows my activity for the past week. So last week was sort of a normal week for me. And then you can see, here's now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I took Monday and Tuesday off training, and then today I just started coming back and just, I did my lift. I'll probably go for a little bit of a walk later on, but again, it's a funny week because I got clunked in the melon, so I'm taking it easy and making sure things are okie dokie. Then we go to sleep. Everybody's all about hacking their sleep. So this is how I hack my sleep. So you can see my sleep score last night, 89%, not the best. And then it goes through my different zones of sleep. So when I was awake, when I was in REM sleep, when I was in core sleep, and when I was in deep sleep. And it breaks those down by percentage. So I had 26% REM sleep, 65% core sleep, 8% deep sleep, and it compares that, shows me on here, it shows me how that compares to my average. So I know, okay, is that sort of better or worse? It also gives me my actual sleep and my target sleep. So my target sleep was 7 hours and 39 minutes. My actual sleep was 6 hours and 49 minutes. Wah, wah. So then it tells me I added 0.7 hours to my sleep deficit. And then if I scroll down, it says, so tonight's sleep target then is 7 hours and 57 minutes. Gives me a target bedtime, a target awake time. And then again, it shows me a summary of how I've been doing with my sleep. Mostly green, that's pretty darn good. Also gives me other metrics, so if you really want to dial in and you really are keen on numbers, it shows average heart rate during your sleep, shows heart rate variability, my respiratory rate, and my blood oxygen saturation. I can also go in and sort of highlight anything that's going on. Did I have alcohol? Was I feeling under the weather? Did I take a nap during the day? Did I meditate? I can tag them so that it kind of, if I find that, wow, my sleep is really poor, I can go in and look at those tags and say, oh yeah, like every time I take a nap in the middle of the day, I don't sleep as well. Then we go to the energy screen. And it shows my net energy, how much energy I burned, how much of that was resting calories, how much was active calories, how much energy I consumed. So, and then it puts it on a graph. So I can see yesterday I have been, the last couple of days, because I haven't been doing my workouts, I've been consuming more than I've been expending. But normally it's pretty even. Then we can dial in even more. So we can go and look at sort of some trends. We can look at our recovery versus our activity. So in here, the exertion is the blue line, the recovery is the sort of the yellow dotted line. And you can see how my exertion dropped way down. So I'm getting a ton of recovery. Normally it's more like, at the side of the screen before I got clunked in the head and was doing my regular training, it sort of, hovers around up and down. Some days you're up a little bit, some days you're down a little bit. It gives you my heart rate recovery over the last 60 days, looking at exertion, weekly cardio training load. So there's tons and tons of metrics that I can get out of this, and it dials in nice and deep. So to me, this gives me the information that I really liked from the Whoop. Some of the information I really, really liked, but I didn't like having to wear two things. I have appointments and things in my calendar, and so I really like having reminders on my watch. So I need to wear a watch, and that meant that I had to have a strap on each wrist, which I just didn't fancy. So this kind of fills in that gap, and I just need the one device. It does also track the workouts, so my workouts sync from Apple Health, so then I can also see how many workouts I've done and how my workout trend this month compares to last month. And it says that I've completed 85 workouts this month, up from 61 this point last month, so not bad. And then lastly, I can just look at a calendar view, and it shows me my recovery for the month. So I can quickly look at the month and see, okay, there's yellow, a little bit of green, a little bit of red. That sounds about right. I've been pushing really hard on a new project. I've been working extra on the weekends and that kind of thing, so it makes sense. We can look through, I like it too, because sometimes it's like, okay, is this good or bad, and so I can look at the past 6 months of data and see, so in May, there was a ton of red. July, some months kind of look like that. Not too bad. Some green, some yellow. But you can just kind of look at the trend. It's like, wow, I've been like red a lot. Okay, maybe I need to take a little bit extra time. So that's app number 1. App number 2 that I've been using lately, I don't use it all the time, but I have been using it lately, is MyFitnessPal. And I've set up some targets for my macros, and I have been tracking all my nutrition. So I go in, I usually do it the day before. I go in and I map out everything that I'm going to eat for the day. And so I sort of have that plan. So how it helps me, especially this time of year, is it makes me aware too of where I'm getting those empty calories. I love shortbread cookies. It's, as I shoot this video, we're about a month out from Christmas. So it's like, okay, that shortbread cookie is this much fat and this many calories. So what's gonna give here in my regular meals that I can fit that in? And usually it's nothing, because I try to get my actual food in first before I start going to the shortbread cookie diet. So it helps me be a little bit more aware of that. And just some foods too, it's like, wow, I didn't realize, there was that much fat in whatever food it is. So it just helps me make a little bit better decisions, helps me be aware of what I'm eating. Not that I'm a slave to it, but it just, as you get into upper middle age, it's a little harder to, keep your body composition where you want it to be. And we think like, oh, well, but I eat healthy. And then we track it here and it's like, okay, yeah, that's maybe not as healthy as I thought it was. And even I like this feature, so we can go on, click on the summary that shows sort of how many calories you're going to get based on what you've put in. And if it's like, if my fat is super high already, it's like, well, what's that all about? I can click on fat, and it's going to tell me, what foods are contributing the most fat to my day. And so then I can modify those. So like, oddly enough, like I made cauliflower fried rice. So it's like a rice, like cauliflower rice, but fried rice, like, and so, it's like, yeah, that's healthy. And so then oddly enough, you look and it's like, oh, actually that's the thing that's highest in fat. Now my fat macros on this day, my fat grams are fine, so I can leave it in. But if they were over, then I could go in and say, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm gonna cut that volume down a little bit. You can set it so that it accounts for your activity. So the more active you are, it gives you more calories to eat on the day. I have that turned off because I have a set number that I want to eat right now. So I have that turned off so that it's like, okay, I'm not thinking like, oh, well, I went for a 2-hour run, so I can ding dong 17 shortbread cookies. That is not a bad idea. The other thing that's neat about it is you can, when you're trying to add a food, you can, if the food has a barcode, you can scan that barcode with your phone, and it has a huge database of foods. So a lot of times it just pops right up and it's right in there. And even when you search foods, usually you can find what you're after. So it's just kind of handy if you're interested in tracking your macros. And I just use that as an app on my phone. It's called MyFitnessPal, and I pay for the bonus membership or whatever it's called. Now I've got a few more apps to share, but I'm interested in what fitness tracking apps you use, why you like them, why you feel they're beneficial, and how it sort of impacts your training. Drop a comment below, let me know. I'm gonna go over these next 2 apps that I use, and then I'm gonna summarize, how does this impact my training? How does it change what I do on a day-to-day basis? But for now, you drop your comment in below, let me know what you use, what you like, what you don't like, and how it changes your training. This next one is a big one that I use. I think it's called Fittiv, or Fittiv. I think it's Fittiv, Fittiv. All the links will be down in the description. And it is what I use to track my fitness. I like it because I love to run as well. So in addition to playing hockey, I love to run, I love to trail run, I love to cross-country ski, downhill ski, bicycle. So I do a lot of activities. So this isn't specific to hockey, but it works for me because I do so many different activities. And then I like that I can track like the list of activities that it has it's a ton of activities, and I can set up custom workouts. So I do some interval training for my running, and I can set that workout, and then it'll prompt me in my ear too, in my headphones, time to go hard, time to go easy. So I really like that part of it. And it works from your Apple Watch. So I have it right on my home screen of my watch. So I can click here, and then I can start any of these activities from here. Or if I don't see the activity I want, or it's like I'm gonna play hockey, then I can go and click on hockey and start that. While I'm working out on the screen, it's going to show me my heart rate, my max heart rate, my average heart rate, what intensity zone I'm in, how many calories, the duration, and I can customize the screen so that it gives me the information that I want.
Starting workout. Starting workout.
So when I do my strength training, I set it up like this. So it gives me my heart rate, my calories burned, it'll fill in average heart rate and what intensity zone I'm in right now. And you can see this is blue right now because I'm just in the warm-up zone. If I were going more intensely, it would turn to a different color, yellow, green, yellow, red.
Workout complete.
When I click on my workout, it's going to show me a map of where I went. That was just my morning walk around the pond that I do every day. Shows me how long it took, my elevation gain, my average heart rate, my maximum heart rate, how many calories I burned. I can see what zones I was in. So again, I just did my walk around the pond. I stayed in my warm-up zone. But sometimes when we do training for running, we specifically want to stay in zone 2, or we want to make sure we get up into zone 4. So that makes it really handy as well. And I can type notes in here to say, I had a little mini concussion, so I'm just going nice and easy this week, blah, blah. Then again, it tracks all of my activity. One thing I really like about this, I kind of like the challenges that are in Strava. I'm not super into the community, but I like some of the challenges, and I like some of the data that I get in Strava, specifically for my running. So this, I can import these workouts into Strava and track it that way. But it shows, all your workout history is in there. There is a community. There are some challenges in there. I don't get super into that, but it is available. You can check a leaderboard, in terms of people your age, how you're comparing to them in terms of your activity. There's different groups you can join if you're inclined. Again, it's not something that I do, but you can. And then again, you can see a calendar summary, that kind of shows how active you are and how active you've been. And I can look and get a summary. I also really like comparing or seeing, hey, what was my activity like last year relative to this year? So I can go into all of my workouts. I can look at the past year. It will give me my daily average, whether that's up or down from what it was last year, this year. So this year so far I've worked out 367 hours and some odd minutes. Last year I worked out 375 hours and some odd minutes. So I kind of like that because it's, it's like, even with my running, I was like, oh, why is my pace down? It's like, oh, because you're not running as much as you did last year, maybe. So I really like that. It gives you, your current streak, how many weeks you've hit your training goal. I can set goals for how many hours I want to train every week or how many miles I want to run. And so it lets me know, hey, you got that, and it keeps track what was my longest day, what was my best day, what's the best week, where I accumulated the most miles, my best month. So I like that too, because it's sort of, you can go in and check, or you can challenge yourself as well. So that is Fittiv. If I didn't mention it already, it also pulls in like your sleeping data from your health tracker, your body weight if you record that through the health app. So it pulls all that into one place. So that's the one for me. Because I do so many different activities, I want it all to be in one place. If I really only played hockey and only wanted to track hockey, then the Hockey Tracker app is a great app. And it, again, it's by the same developer that developed Athletic. I've used it before. I like it because when I use it as a, and you can say like that you're a goalie. And when I use it as a goalie, it always says something like, I can't remember what the metric is, but it's like, your skating efficiency is that of Connor McDavid. It always says like something like, wow, I must be very good. But it also tells me like, maybe it's not measuring what it thinks it's measuring, but that's a really great app to use as well. It is hockey specific. You can say that you're a goalie, although I'm not sure that it really is set up to specifically track goalie metrics. But if you know something more about that, then definitely fill me in, let me know. You know what to do, drop a comment. So the two that I use all the time, Athletic and Fittiv. I'm using MyFitnessPal for the last few months just to keep me honest with my nutrition, because sometimes I need it. I stopped using Whoop because I felt like Athletic was giving me the data that I was getting from the Whoop strap anyway, and then I only needed one device to wear. Before you ask, and if you want me to do an in-depth review of the Apple Watch Ultra, let me know. So far, I really like it. I've had it for a week. It's a big watch, very, very small wrist. So I was worried that this could be too big, and it is a huge watch, but I actually kind of like the bigger screen because as my peepers get a little bit older, I don't have to hold my hand so far away to read the numbers, and when I'm running, it's really easy to look at. It has a much longer battery life, so that makes it more helpful. I don't have to charge it all the time, and I can leave it so that it's sort of, the display is always on. It looks heavy, but the case is titanium, so it's actually, I don't really notice a difference between it and my previous Apple Watch, which was the Apple Watch 6. I told you I love gadgets. If you're wondering about accuracy of devices, because I think that's something too that gets thrown around a lot, like, well, this one isn't accurate and that one isn't accurate, and they're changing all the time, so it's pretty hard to keep track. Check out this video. This guy is an actual scientist. He does scientific reviews when he looks at sleep tracking, like how well these devices track your sleep stages. He actually goes into a lab and wears like the whole head brainwave thing to compare it to. So like, this isn't a scientific review. This is like, hey, here's what I like and here's what I use, just me. But this guy does scientific reviews. So if you go into that video, I'll put a link in the description, but around the 12:30 mark is this chart. And so he breaks down the accuracy of the heart rate data between Whoop and the different Apple Watches. So you can go in and kind of see, because yeah, you don't want to be getting data on that isn't accurate. How do these devices change my actual training? Not very much. So, or I should say, they don't radically change what I do. So if I look in an Athletic, my recovery is bad, like it's red for 3 days in a row, and maybe I'm feeling a little run down, or I've got a lot of stressful things going on. It just kind of validates, okay, you know what, maybe I should. I'm not feeling that great. Maybe I'm going to take today off because it doesn't seem like I'm bouncing back. So that's one use. That doesn't happen very often, and not very often, because not very often am I red, over days at a time. Maybe it's once or twice a month I'll be in the red zone. If I'm yellow repeatedly, so green is like, yeah, you're good to go. Yellow is, like, and red is like, okay, you're not really getting recovery. If I'm yellow and it's sort of trending down and I'm feeling quite, a little bit run down, well, then I might change a workout. I won't typically leave out a workout or skip a workout, but let's say I was going to do a 40-minute tempo run. Well, I might just go out instead and do a 40-minute category 2 run, or like easy run. I might make little adjustments like that. It doesn't radically change it. For sleep, I have a pretty good sleep routine anyway, so I go to bed at a consistent time. I have a consistent routine. So it's like, not like I can sleep harder. Sometimes my brain wakes me up and turns on in the middle of the night, and then it's not going to be a very good night's sleep, but I can't sort of make that not happen. But it does make me aware of things. If I notice, oh geez, when, if you have a glass of wine before bed, your sleep score goes down. Okay, well, let's see if it gets better when I don't have that glass of wine. Yeah, it does. I want to sleep better, so let's not have the glass of wine. Those kinds of things to adjust. It's kind of helpful. Let me know what apps you love, and if you have a Whoop band and you love it, that's fine too. Let me know what you love about it in the description. Let me know what your device is or any apps that you use that they're helpful, and how they change or how they enhance your performance or your training experience. I told you I love gadgets. I get it from my father. I come from a long line of gadget lovers. Not really, just my dad. My dad loved gadgets. My grandpa wasn't into gadgets, but my dad did. So let me know in the comments below if you loved gadgets too. We can just hang out and geek out about gadgets. Otherwise, now is the time to hit the like button. There's no app for that. You just hit the button down below. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let me know if this video was helpful, and I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.